Welcome to another live Pittsburgh Sportsline TV show in the BP TV studios right here in Bethel Park. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine. I got my co-host and buddy Smokin' Jim Frazier, and Chip Hayner's caught up with the lawn service company that he works for, and he did not make it. He got too tied up with all that, and a lot of business out there. People want their yards to look nice, and they treat him for weeds and stuff, so he does that. Well, we got a lot of sports to talk about during our Corona time, and I want to thank everybody in Bethel Park on Comcast 7 for watching us. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching our show. And we're on every Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 7 o'clock to 8, and only in Bethel Park on Comcast 7. On Verizon 32, Bethel Park, and all the way from Nemacolin to Cranberry, Wexford, and all points in between. And thanks for watching us there. Our Facebook page, thanks for liking our shows and liking our Facebook page. 6,891 likes. Thank you very much. We appreciate that. I got some promos here, and we got Connor back again on camera. And we got Anthony doing the control room. He did a great job for the first time. He's an intern here. And we want to thank, look at that automatic focus, Connor. You don't even have to work on it. I still like when you set it up. It looks good. This is Olive Oil's Pizzeria, Hillcrest Shopping Center. They usually supply us with a pizza and a hoagie, but we're not eating outside, so we're not having them give us anything right now. And you can call them 412-831-1900. They have takeout. I see them open all the time. And my son even ordered from them a couple days ago. Got some wings and some stuff to eat, so it was all good. Next up, the Bethel Park Historical Society. Can you get that? Ah, there we go. Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road. And it's a designated historic landmark by the Pittsburgh History and Landmark Foundation. And they put a lot of money into it, all brand new windows, $150,000 roof. They've remodeled the inside. They rent it out to an artist, all kind of dancing studio. They have a library. They got old uniforms. They got old yearbooks from Bethel Park. They have events there, and it's a big place, pretty cool. When you can go out to this place, check it out. My favorite tea shop is Reginald's Coffee. They opened it up a year ago, almost in the last month, a year. They've been out there. They have takeout service. And with the rules with opening, I asked when they can let us inside. They said with the occupation, they can only let 3 people in, and they have Wi-Fi. So somebody like Smokin' Jim would be there all day, so then only 2 other people could come in. And if Smokin' Jim's sweetie came in, then only 1 person could come in. Need I tell you any more? So go to their takeout, call in, order up, and their tea is great. And the coffee, they talk about it all the time. Next up, we end each show in honor of 9-year-old Joey Fabus, who died of DIPG, dreaded brain cancer. The Joey Fabus Childhood Foundation, the parents started it 6 years ago. They've raised over $100,000 to try to find a cure. And I've been involved with them with the 5K 1-mile Joey Fabus run in the second week of September at Bethel Park High School. I'm hopeful we can do it again this year, so stay tuned for what we're doing. Another nonprofit, Bethel Park Community Foundation. Bang, there we go. bpcf.org. Get an application. We've given out over $975,000 in 25 years. If your group in Bethel needs money for the good things they're doing to help promote your group in Bethel Park, we have from $100 to $5,000. Just contact them again at bpcf.org. So check it out. Next up, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. Put my head on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV. Tell them Uncle Al Levine, the Talking Machine, producer and host of Pittsburgh Sportsline, wants you for BPTV like Connor, like Anthony. You can come work here, 412-831-3304. Everybody's a volunteer. We do shows on location, so you can be around helping there. You can be in the studio to do things like that here too. And look at Connor's doing great camera work. Look at that picture. Thank you, Connor. Then I got a little update on Number 21's a nonprofit that John Sarapere is a director of. They have a group event coming up on August 22nd. This was the flyer that I had then. If you could pull up on that. You never ate it, but they're going to have it. I met with the two directors and owners of the Afro-American Musical Institute in Homewood, real easy to find, and they showed me the whole facility. July 21st, me and Smokin' Jim are going to do a prelude show for the August 22nd event, because in case something would happen with the video then, we'll have a show for an hour. So mark your calendar. I don't know what time yet. And they're going to have this gumbo. They have a special recipe. They won't tell me. I asked. And supposedly it's good. They've done it for years. And Dr. J and Pam are the two directors. Very nice people. They know a lot of people in the area. Dr. J impressed me with his martial arts, that he even learned about the origination of martial arts in Cairo, Egypt, at the pyramids. That's where they started martial arts. I never knew that.
I didn't either.
And he practices.
Now, do you know the 21st of July is a Tuesday?
Yeah. It'll be during the day.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an
That
evening.
Works. Okay.
Yeah.
That works.
They said somewhere between 2 and 5.
CP time?
Yes. Yes, but when I say roll, we're going to roll. So we'll go on there. Then our show is also sponsored by Skeet Service Station at 6103 Route 88. Skeets keeps calling me up to come in there, but I have to wear a mask and he don't believe in them, so I respect everybody's opinions, but the levels of corona are going up because somebody said that we're testing too many, but people are actually sick out there. So I just had a 9-month checkup for my kidney transplant last Wednesday. After 9 months, they said my blood work and all my kidney function's great. My health is very good. The doctor was happy. He said, come back on your year so we can do a biopsy of your kidney to see how it's functioning. Even though it all looks good, we have to do that. And then we'll give you an exam a couple weeks later. So now I don't have to get blood tests every 2 weeks, once a month. So things are getting better. Thanks for all your prayers and sincere words and kindness. I appreciate that. It's helped boosted me up. I'm a positive guy, but it took me to other levels. And you can see now I'm very healthy. No tan, because 50% of kidney transplant patients get cancer if they go out in the sun.
I didn't know
So
that.
I can't get a suntan. And I may think about that spray tan that Smokin' Jim's been spraying on. I may see where he buys it, and we'll see what happens. But you can call Skeets, 724-348-4715. They work on anything and everything that runs on gas, and they even work on electric things, cars, trucks, weed whackers, lawnmowers, you name it, tractors, boats, cars, of course. And I got to get my car inspected the end of the month next week, so we'll see what happens then. But let's go. Smokin' Jim Frazier, what's on your mind?
Thanks, L. Levine, the talking machine. If you want the green,
Here, coming at you.
you got to see Levine. Good throw.
Oh, thanks. I used to pitch,
Me too.
and I remember who I played with.
I don't.
My catcher was Greg Kirby, and I posted a thing today on what dinner I had. I don't know if you saw it, but I'll show it to you.
I can't wait to see that.
I showed you some
no, I
ahi
didn't see
tuna
that.
and Thai poke. I said,
Oh, man.
I'm going to go to the show with Smokin' Jim in a bit. Vince Ornato asked if I'd feed you. I said, I don't know if Smokin' Jim would eat ahi tuna.
I never heard of it.
Thank you. That's why I told him I don't know if he'll eat it. And Vince, was surprised by that because he goes, "Who else are you feeding there?" And I said, "Nobody, just me." And then Ty Polk said he'd tune in. So, Ty Polk, hello. And he's just starting to be a broadcaster with the Pittsburgh Yellow Jackets.
Oh, yeah.
He just did a video with them.
That's a basketball team.
Yeah, you figured it out very well. Friends of our show, Ace Pippins and the guys.
Heck yeah.
I even went to Green Tree and saw them play a couple years ago.
Did you?
When they were up there.
Wow.
They said, "Where's Smoking Jim?" I go, "I can't keep an eye on my brother from another mother." But we had a little extra time, so that's why I wanted to distract you with some of this other stuff.
That's
but
awesome.
Smoking Jim, I'll let you talk about what's on your mind.
Well, everybody knows how much I love Coach Mike Tomlin. We're friends, and he just announced that 2 of the Pittsburgh Steelers have come down with the coronavirus. Should we try to guess which 2?
No.
Gotta know.
You do it because you know the Steelers intimately, or so you say.
But I tell you what, as much as I like Coach Tomlin, I don't have him in the top 10 coaches in the NFL. My top 2 coaches, 1A and 1B, is Bruce Arians from Tampa Bay, and maybe the best coach in the NFL is John Harbaugh. I got so much respect for Harbaugh, and I tell you what, man, I didn't see the magic early on because Ray Lewis was the player coach. He ran that team. Ozzie Newsome was in the front office, brought in a lot of great players. But Jim Harbaugh has impressed me immensely. He comes from a football family. His dad was a great, great coach. His brother, Jimmy Harbaugh, is an outstanding football mind.
Except he can't beat Ohio State.
Not yet.
How many years?
Not yet. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Well, you're all about the winning, so I can't believe you're not turning on him yet.
Nah, he turned them around. He turned Michigan around. It's just that right now Ohio State has been getting the best of them, but that'll be over pretty soon.
I don't think so.
But, I don't have no respect for this new Ohio State coach. He's cocky. That's why he got blown out in the bowl game.
Yeah.
But I tell you,
you'll have that. Some people are like that.
Yeah. He hadn't done anything in football. He inherited a team from Myers and Urban Myers, and now he thinks he's
well, he did something wrong too. So
Urban Myers?
Yeah. Didn't they get rid of him?
No, he stepped down. Yeah, he stepped down.
All right.
But again, John Harbaugh, I think is the best coach in the National Football League, and there's no longer a rivalry between the Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens is just so much better than the Pittsburgh Steelers right now, from coaching all the way down. So that's what's on my mind. John Harbaugh.
Wow.
Get excited about Baltimore.
What's unusual is, no disclaimer, but you're a Steeler fan for years, and you just gave up your season tickets because you didn't feel it anymore, even though Tomlin's had a winning record, never a losing season. And if you don't want to be great, he's just 8-8. So, I mean, you've called that. But John Harbaugh, that's just shocking to hear that. I'll let you go. I respect your opinions, and I'll agree to disagree. For sure. And we'll see what happens. I just wanted to ask you one question. I've been listening to some of the talk radio, and they say Cleveland's lineup looks great on paper again.
Yeah.
So I was going to call in and say, why don't you ask Smoking Jim Frazier what he really feels like about Cleveland? Because he was wrong last year.
I sure was,
I won't rub it in. We'll leave it short. All right, I'll do what's on my mind. Like, I'm having trouble trying to watch soccer. I told people over the last 9 years we've been doing our show, a couple times I was painting my bathroom and I watched soccer for 5 minutes, and I did see him score 2 goals. Then I saw a couple games where they didn't score any goals for I don't know how many minutes or hours.
Wow.
So it's not my sport. So I'm on my 9th book since the corona.
Really?
Yeah. I read books. This is a 373-page book. I read a lot of history, but I mix it up with sports. So my sister went to a place that was closing down in Heidelberg. They sold all kind of like housewares, books, shelves, tables, all kinds of things. So she goes, "Would you like me to get some books for you? What do you like?" So I said history and sports. So she got me about 40 books.
Really?
Yeah, about half, all for free. You know, if it's free, it's for me. Never had a bad free meal. And half of the books, there's about 40 of them. I think about half will work. I read one on signers of the Declaration. The book was written 1848.
Who would read
It was
that?
republished. Well, you know, there's 56 signers to the Declaration of Independence.
I didn't know that.
You know, because of the Declaration of Independence, we have America, because we broke away from England, if you don't know that. But,
No.
you know, they didn't teach much at Gateway. You know, it's not known for their students like Smoking Jim. But it was interesting. And I tell people what's interesting about it is it was talking about Thomas Jefferson. I don't know if you know, but Connor knows that Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence, and he was on a committee with Ben Franklin, John Adams, and somebody else. And everybody knows that Thomas Jefferson had slaves and had children with Sally Hemings, who was a half-sister to his wife who had died. You may not know that. And yeah, I assume so, because history's a weak point there, unless it's talking sports, sometimes. So as he wrote the Declaration of Independence, he wrote the whole thing with ideas from everybody. He had in there, abolish slavery. They took it out because they said it was not time to do that.
Wow.
But he did it back in, you know what year we were founded? Again, Connor, I'm struggling here, 1776.
Okay.
But he wrote it back then.
Really?
And I don't know, people were wanting to rip all these statues down, but we didn't live in those times, and a lot of things have improved or should have improved. So I'm for equality. I was brought up to be colorblind, like I don't know what color Smoking Jim is, and surely he'll bring up something black early, but it's just a coincidence. But we put up with things like that. But anyhow, the book I'm reading, and I figure we have extra time so I can get into detail, Lefty Gomez was a great pitcher, but I always thought he was a goofy type of guy because he was a quick-witted guy. He was actually a farm boy, and he discovered baseball. And he told his parents he wanted to play Major League Baseball.
Really?
And he focused on baseball from a very young age, 10, 11, 12 years old. And his dad was a rancher, a cowboy, and he was so mad at him, he wouldn't let him play baseball. He had to do all his chores. Well, I forget, there's like 6 or 7 kids, and he was the baby. So the other kids would do the chores to let him go out and play baseball.
Wow.
And as he got to be 12, 13 years old, he had broken his right arm, and he learned how to pitch left-handed.
Really?
Yeah, because people say left-handed pitchers, they always say they have a good curveball and they're good pitchers. And I found a few friends that were good left-handers. But back in the day, people could tell you I could throw a curve and a slider and a fastball. So
I couldn't.
yeah, I understand. And you don't have any witnesses on who saw that. So we won't argue. So anyhow, at 14 years old, he started playing with the older kids. And one of the pro teams wanted him to be on their team. And it was around San Francisco, so they toyed around with getting him on the team.
Wow.
And he ended up playing professional baseball, and his dad was still upset with him, didn't want him to play, thought it was a waste of time. He goes, these baseball players are drinkers, gamblers, which you would have liked back in the day. They were gambling on everything. They're card players, and he didn't think he would do any good. So the minor league teams would sell ball players to the pro teams. Like some guys would go for $10,000, $5,000, $25,000, even $100,000 a team would buy a good player. And that's what happened. The Yankees bought him to be a pitcher. In his rookie year, he won like 21 games, and he had a fastball. He was a skinny guy. One of the coaches of a team said, "Don't come back until you gain weight." Well, he was like 6'2", 125 pounds. They said, "You'll never be able to pitch." Well, he did that in the pros with the Yankees and won 21 games his first year.
6'2" what?
Pardon me? 6'2",
How much he weigh?
125.
Wow.
You know weight.
Wow.
You know, look what you're carrying. You know. Oh, sorry. I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying. But they kept telling him his whole career that you're underweight. You're underweight. You got to gain weight. They even sent him to spas for 3 years to gain weight.
Wow.
He drank milk and ate all kind of eggs and ate steaks, and he could never gain weight. And he started a pro career with the Yankees.
What year?
Like 1930 or 31.
Okay.
That was back around the Depression, which started in 29.
Wow.
A lot of people were out of work. That's why his dad wanted him to be a farmer.
Yeah.
At least you made food that people eat, and
Yeah.
what little money they had, what people were going to buy food. Like, you'll get a bucket of chicken whether you got $10 or $15.
That's true.
You'll get one. It might be a smaller one or whatever, but you'll get it because you ain't cooking. But that's another story. But he started doing that, and he ended up, he only had like one pair of pants when he went there, only had a few dollars. He became known as one of the snappiest, nattiest dressers, and he learned how to buy better clothes, and he spent it on the clothes. Nobody knew that he was just a farm boy, and he was, we would call it a ball buster and a quick-witted guy, and he was funny. The newspapers loved interviewing him because he was a character. He'd come up with these sayings, and they'd say another saying from Lefty, and his real name was Vernon Gomez.
Wow.
They thought he was Mexican, but his heritage was Spanish.
Same thing.
No, he played down. Listen what happened in Mexico. He was on a minor league team.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, "He's Mexican. We'll treat you right. You can get free rooms, food, and everything." So the owner that's giving him all this food and stuff goes, "Where in Mexico were you born?" He goes, "I wasn't. My heritage is Spanish." He could have lied like you would have done, but he didn't. He said he was Spanish. They sent him all back home to California.
Wow.
Because he grew up in Rodeo, California. Family had a big farm. They milked cows. And he made it and played for New York for years. He got in the Hall of Fame, won
Really?
World Series games.
Wow.
He was friends with Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig. You've heard of those names.
I did.
Yeah, he was actually a personal friend with Babe Ruth. And he said he was a much different guy in person. He just liked to have fun, and he treated people right. He was a nice guy. So how about that?
Yeah.
But his wife, who he married, was a star on Broadway. Beautiful lady, had a couple kids with her, and his daughter helped to write this story with him. And she published it, and it's just a great book, 373 pages. I'm into about 250 right now,
Wow.
so I'm chipping away each day. And it's just so interesting, the stories and the people. He even talks about going to Japan back when they were playing baseball, but they didn't have the pro leagues, so they went on a barnstorming trip. They used to call that, like when Satchel Paige and the guys would play other teams, barnstorming. That's what they called it. So remember that for your Funkin' Wagnalls.
Okay.
So they go to Japan, and they were with Babe Ruth and everybody else, and he was pitching, and they made a lot of friends, and the next year they started the pro baseball leagues in Japan.
Really?
Yeah. And there was this one great pitcher, I forget, it was a big long name, began with Subawaru or something. He was a great young pitcher, striking guys out like crazy. Here he got killed a few years later, and he was such a great pitcher. You know how we have our Cy Young Award because he won over 500 games?
Yeah.
They named their great pitching award after this Subawaru
Wow.
in honor of him.
Wow.
So I'm learning different things, trying to teach you, and smoking Jim. So you all get a quiz and you can pass. Forget about it with smoking. He appreciates a good story. But yeah, I'm enjoying the book, and it's one of the books my sister got for free.
Wow.
So, and then she goes, "Do you need a bookshelf?" I go, "I got a stack of books on my nightstand this tall, 2 piles." She goes, what are you going to do? I go, my bookshelf's filled up downstairs. She goes, if I can get a free one, would you get it? I said, yeah, it got to be about 6 foot tall, about 30 inches wide. A couple weeks later, she calls me, I got this bookshelf for you.
Really?
Yeah, so now I can put these extra 20 books on the shelf.
That's what's up.
So that's part of what I'm doing during my spare time. So we're hoping to get out and about, and we'll talk about On Location in a little bit. But we're going to come back with some fiction and fact from Smokin' Jim's Almanac.
We're in the Stanley Cup final for the second year in a row, and here's Yager with the puck. Yager, nice move around right center to the backhand. Lets it go, he scores!
Earlier in that same week, I had a friend who was who had received some anti-Semitic remarks, and in doing that, I had an opportunity to say something to the person that made those remarks, and I didn't do it. I can think back to that morning, and I was getting ready, and I was thinking, am I going to say anything? What should I say? What's the right message to say? And I didn't. And then this happens 2 days later. And I wasn't consciously thinking about that situation whenever I was making the symbol, but I can't help but think that it had some sort of, background
That you
information.
wanted to be proactive.
Background. In the back of my head, it was swirling around there. So I think understanding and being able to recognize hate and then doing something about it. I used to think that it was just enough to, not be racist, not be sexist. Well, I'm not racist, so that doesn't apply to me. Well, you have to stop it. The only way we're going to combat hate is with love. So we need to make sure that our messages, as we interact with people throughout the South Hills and throughout our community and throughout our world, that we're interacting with messages of love and hope.
Mark Ditbar throws. Here's a swing and a high fly ball going deep left. If they do it. Back to the ball goes by. It is home run. The Pirates win.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. My man Anthony on the ones and twos, and Connor holding it down for us. But I tell you what, Al Levine, the talking machine, I'm going to ask you, in the history of Pittsburgh sports, what would you say the biggest upset was in Pittsburgh sports?
1960.
No,
That we lost.
That we lost, not one.
When the Cleveland Browns beat us by about 50 to, 14 or something?
Yeah, that was bad. A lot of people say Sid Bream in '92.
They're all Johnny-come-latelys.
Yeah.
Because most of them don't realize what happened there. We didn't deserve to win because Barry Bonds didn't move up a few feet.
But we were winning.
Yeah, but all he had to do is step up 10 feet.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
Like you played on the pitcher's mound, if they told you move up 10 feet so you could throw faster, you'd move up.
Yeah.
He didn't.
They told him?
Yeah, Andy Van Slyke, who he hated, told him.
Wow.
That's a known fact. And then for some reason, like you came so late to the party about Sid Bream, it was years and years after it.
The curse.
Yeah, but people didn't start out that way. Why didn't they say it that first year?
Huh?
They didn't say it when it happened.
The curse?
No. They didn't say it. It happened years after.
I guess after 20 losing seasons, they figured it out, huh?
No, it was before that.
When they go to Guinness Book of World Record for most consecutive losing seasons, I guess that's easy.
No,
to
they
figure
started
out.
before then. No, but I'm saying, like you talked about the curse of, Art Rooney, not realizing he liked to drink and gamble, and he hired drunks and gamblers, and they didn't do well. And it took his son to take over to change the things.
Oh, good point.
But that's what happened. But yeah, that Sid Bream thing's just a bump in the road. Here's what they knew at the time, which you didn't. You're learning this, so I'll give you some insights.
Okay.
This was going to be the last year of good teams, and it was 3 years in a row, because guess what the Pirates were going to do with their players? dump them
Wow.
for a salary dump. And everybody knew that.
Wow.
So they knew this was their last hurrah. And that's what happened.
Man.
Now you know the history, and then the revisionists that are out there like you and others, you want to revive what the truth is because you think of something, and it's not true.
But I think the worst
Yeah, go ahead.
upset in Pittsburgh history,
Yeah.
and I was approved for tickets to the Super Bowl in Miami.
Yeah.
Couldn't wait. Matter of fact, I was going with a blonde.
No way.
Yeah, beautiful blonde. Man.
Of course.
Yeah, and all the Pittsburgh.
That's your kryptonite. That's your kryptonite.
All the Pittsburgh Steelers had to do was beat the San Diego Chargers. They made a video.
They missed it by
before the
this much.
game. Yeah.
They were that close.
They were that close. San Diego couldn't, if they played 10 times, the Steelers
would have
would beat them
gained that
10
amount.
times. And I tell you what, the Steelers made a video, a Super Bowl video before the game. And
Wasn't there a rap
and-
song and everything?
yeah, rap song, a Super Bowl video like the Chicago Bears made. And,
Yeah.
And everybody was saying Rod Woodson versus Jerry Rice in the Super Bowl. And I tell you what, Junior Seau played like a madman that day. You know, I was at the game. He was all over the field, and you still felt like the Steelers was going to win. They were up, and next thing you know, San Diego creeped back into the game and caught momentum and ended up beating the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I ended up losing the opportunity to go to Super Bowl in Miami because
Plus the money you bet.
only got the
Plus
tickets.
that money you bet.
Yeah, yeah. I only got approved for the tickets because I was a Steelers season ticket holder. The teams that go to the Super Bowl, they had a lot more tickets for
Sure.
them than other teams, and so I lost that opportunity. Lost opportunity to hang out in Miami with a blonde,
Yeah.
and because you know blondes got more fun, have more fun.
I've heard that. I'm not
Yeah,
sure of that.
Yeah, and I tell you what, El Levine, the talking machine, that still is a game that when you look back on history, may be the biggest upset in Pittsburgh history.
Well, that
In
Cleveland
1994.
debacle was terrible.
Yeah, 51-0. I was at that game too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You stay for the whole thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I stay because I never leave a game early.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. I'll share one with you. In 1987.
Okay.
Rod Woodson held out almost till Christmas.
I
seemed
remember.
Like he was so disappointed that the Steelers weren't going to pay him that he had the third best time in the world in the hurdles, in the 110 hurdles. So he was going to concentrate and run in the 88 Olympics. And he finally came in like October or something. And I remember the Steelers getting blown out, and they put Rod Woodson in at safety. And he made every tackle in the fourth quarter because I always look for who keeps playing hard when you don't have a
When the
chance.
game's over.
When the game's over. And I knew then, I said, Rod Woodson's going to be a great player. He just had it in him. And but a guy that I was always questioning, I remember the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted a guy from a tiny all-black school by the name of Greg Lloyd.
Yeah.
A tiny all-black school nobody ever heard of.
But he was a mean guy.
He was a mean guy, but don't forget, he tore his ACL his first year,
Yeah.
and he tore the ACL on the other knee the second year, and he comes from this tiny, small little school.
Yeah.
But Chuck Noll knew what he had. He come out that third year healthy, and he was just a beast. And the rest was history. But usually they don't keep you around when you come from a small school and you
Right.
get hurt 2 years in a row, injured reserve,
Good point, Smokey.
Yeah. But that's the fiction and fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac. San Diego Chargers went to the Super Bowl, and San Fran beat the brakes off of them. But it had been a different story with Bill Cowher and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Wow. You heard it here again. Smoking Jim Frazier. All about the Steelers when he thinks they're going to win. All right, thanks, Smoking. We're going to go to On Location.
everybody. We're here to invite you to the 3rd annual Designer Bag Bingo held on Cinco de Mayo, May 5th, 2017 at the Bethel Park Community Center.
For $25, you'll be treated to 10 games of bingo, each for a designer handbag. There will be 50-50 and basket raffles for your enjoyment also.
And since this year's bingo falls on Cinco de Mayo, expect a fun and festive time as you vie for these and other fabulous prizes.
Light snacks and soft drinks will be provided. And don't forget to BYOB. Feel free to bring your own food too.
All proceeds from the Designer Bag Bingo benefit the Bethel Park Volunteer Scholarship Fund, held in trust and awarded by the Bethel Park Community Foundation.
Tickets are available at the Bethel Park Public Library and at EV True Value Hardware.
So join us for the 3rd annual Designer Bag Bingo. Bring your friends and we'll make it a fiesta. Ole!
Hey, I'm Halloween, the Talking Pumpkin. I'm here to invite you to vote for my pumpkin friends at the Bethel Park Library Children's Department.
Here at the Bethel Park Public Library, some of our very talented staff have painted pumpkins for this Halloween season. Not just any pumpkin, but book character pumpkins. We're asking you to come in with a quarter and vote for your favorite one. You can vote as often as you'd like from now all the way through October 24th, and the winner will be announced at the Halloween Hullabaloo Party at 6 p.m. that evening. Funds raised will benefit the Children's Winter Reading Program, and the pumpkins will be raffled off at the end of the party. Display them proudly in your neighborhood.
Thank you. Your donation is appreciated. Hi, Bethel Park. Uncle Al speaking. I'm asking you to come help us behind the scenes at BP TV. We're looking for some proud Bethel Park residents to help us make the shows that you want to watch. For more information, contact Station Director Dave Cable, and we will see you behind the cameras at BP TV.
'17 then. We're back. I guess we're going to talk some sports.
You didn't do On Location, did you?
Yeah, I did it.
Did you?
This is live TV, folks. They caught us off guard a little. We were just chatting with Connor about soccer.
You never did On Location. They cut away to a commercial.
Yeah. Yeah, this is On Location. Right?
Yeah.
I got lost.
Yeah.
That was such a long commercial. Thanks for staying with our show. That was 4 minutes. So we appreciate it. We're going to talk about that because it's not all about Al Levine in a commercial, all right? On Location, I was talking last week about Master Zhang. Called me up. We're going to talk about doing a show maybe in July sometime at his place in Wexford. So we'll have to line that up with a cameraman, and me and Smokin' Jim will interview Master Zhang, who loves our show and loves what we do. And then I was hinting about John Serapera and We 21. They practice in communities. They had a group of baseball players from the area playing the other day that they helped organize to follow the philosophy of Roberto Clemente about being teammates, friends, and just starting a whole movement. So he's doing some things, and he offered us to do a show with him that's going to be live streamed and on Zoom. He has 50 Zoom channels, so he's going to have other people. Jessica Lee's supposed to even do something for them and perform. And he has these the Afro-American Musical Institute. They've been around for years. They do a lot of great things in the community. They're well-known, Pam and Dr. Jay Johnson. They're well-known people in the community. They do a lot of great things. They have orchestras for younger kids. They have music shows when they're allowed every first Monday of each month. And we're going to do a show there August 22nd that we're going to film it and then produce it and interview people, teams. We'll tell our stories about being on teams and what it taught us. Can't wait to hear about Smokin' Jim and what it taught him. Definitely. But yeah, we're going to do, those are a couple on location shows, and I got a couple other calls. I don't want to mention that, but people want to know when we can do something. So we're looking into it. So stay tuned for some on location shows. And that's all I got there. It's sort of short and sweet, but we'll be back with some sports talk about, of course, NFL, because Smokin' Jim said that's the only important sport, NBA, NHL, and even baseball, how the owners gave him an ultimatum. So we'll be back.
He has done it. We're in the Stanley Cup final for the second year in a row, and here's Yager with the puck. Yager, nice move around red center to the backhand. Lets it go, he scores!
Hello, my name is Mike Pompicelli. I'm here to talk to you today about a topic that most individuals do not think about, but as of late, it seems to become an important issue given the fact that this COVID-19 virus has generated a crisis that stemmed a large purchase of toilet paper in most of our markets. This product seems to be the most sought after. I'm not certain that many people need 1,000 rolls of toilet paper, but it is a necessary product. But I'm here to talk to you today about what we should and should not be flushing down our toilets. It is imperative that individuals who have purchased alternative products because they can't get toilet paper on the shelves today understand that many of these products say perhaps flushable on the side or in the directions, but that doesn't mean that they should be flushed down the toilet. Like a lot of other products, baby wipes, paper towels, Kleenexes, all these products are considered non-biodegradable. And what that means is they do not degrade down readily easily. And therefore, the process, by the time they are flushed and reach the treatment facility, they may still be intact, unlike toilet paper, which degrades really easily and does not cause a problem to the sanitary systems. You begin to flush these products, and over time, they could possibly build up either in your sewer lateral or in the sanitary main system. These buildups will eventually become backups and could be costly to the homeowner down the road. If you are unsure what to flush or not what to flush, on our website we have created a list under Do Not Flush, which states items that seem to be relatively self-explanatory, what not to flush down the toilet. The only things that should be flushed down the toilet are human waste and toilet paper. That's it. Anything else should go into the garbage. Other products that are on the list that should not be flushed down the toilet are also some of the products that you shouldn't be pouring down your sink drain as well, and that's grease, some products that fish waste and things like that. Those are products that you shouldn't also be flushing down the sanitary system, and that's where the kitchen sink leads to as well. So again, if you're looking for a complete list or just some of a list of what things you should not flush down the toilet, please visit our website at bethelpark.net and follow the guidelines to Do Not Flush, and you'll find a list there. Okay, thank you, and have a nice day.
We're just going to talk sports. The ultimatum that the major league owners gave the players, since they can't negotiate, they said we're going to have only a 60-game season. 60 games, Smokin' Jim.
Wow.
And they'll work out the details later, but it's not going to work out because they don't really have a good plan. And then look at all the other sports. NHL has 11 players with corona.
Do they?
Yeah. Steelers got 2 players. Somebody else has a player or 2. NBA's had some players with corona.
Steelers can replace those 2.
Well, like
They're
the NFL,
replaceable.
they're all pieces of meat,
Yeah.
but they still don't know what happens. Like, say your star players are all corona'd up and they got to be quarantined. Well, all the players they interacted with got to be quarantined. So how are they going to play a game?
Scabs.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's one
Yeah,
answer.
Yeah.
How come nobody else talked about that?
It'll work.
Where are they going to be coming from? They'll have to be quarantined for 2 weeks because they weren't in the bubble.
Well,
So that means that week they can't play.
they're
How are you going to figure that out, genius?
You're getting them from truck drivers and garbage truck guys, so they'll be available.
They got corona.
Bartenders. For
They
the
got
kickers.
corona. Everybody's got corona now. All across the country, people under 30 are getting sick with corona. How's that?
I don't think.
They
According
just come out with
according to
that.
President Trump, it's been going down. You saying it's going up?
I just
some?
got to do a disclaimer. We're non-political, but when somebody tells me they're 74 years old and they don't have a problem walking, and they do, and they talk about it for 15 minutes, then they have trouble raising a bottle to drink out of, and then he shows that he can drink with 2 hands on a cup.
Really?
It was a nightmare seeing that.
Wow.
So I have my doubts on the honesty of his statements going back to the 70s. Just so I know, all right? Because I only know you 9 years, and you keep telling me you're an honest man. I haven't checked into too much of it. But one thing I did check into, I've asked friends of yours, did you ever hear Smokin' Jim talk about pitching baseball? Every one of them told me, no. No. I'm going to call your mama up.
I had a heck of a fastball.
I'm going to call your mama up to find out if that's even true, because we're friends.
I either strike you out or hit you.
I want 17 witnesses. I need witnesses. What do you hear with the NFL? They're good to go then?
Oh, of course, it's an essential sport. The
You don't know
NFL
anything about it then, okay.
NFL is going to be good to go, man, and whatever it takes.
Yeah.
They're leading the way. Like I said before, all the non-essential sport, I'm sorry, Connor, like soccer, hockey, basketball, baseball, those are non-essential. Put all your time, money, and your thought process into having a good NFL and college football season. I would say Heinz Field should limit it to 70,000 fans. Don't go over that. I would keep the
That's their maximum.
keep it at that. Keep it at 70,000.
Well, folks, as you understand, he does not understand social distancing and does not understand how 2.5 million have been sick.
Well, you showed me a picture of 1918 when they had the pandemic, and everybody was at the game with a mask.
They
That's all
lost
you need.
millions of people, though.
Did they really?
Yeah. Millions died. Millions.
But that wasn't as bad as the corona.
Well, there were less people then, so the percentage was a lot bigger than what ours would be if millions die.
Wow.
Yeah, it's simple math. Connor will explain it to you after the show.
Yeah.
Like if you only had 60 or 70 people and 3 million die, you know, that's a big percentage.
Yeah, that's true.
So we got 330 million, so that many can die, no
How
problem.
many blacks? How many blacks?
That's only about 12% of the population. So I'd say less than 40 million.
Less than 40 million.
And they're responsible for 90% of the crimes. How's that working out? And I'm just giving you some weak numbers on that. I don't understand. It's confusing to me. Yeah, I saw a stat that black people commit 5 times as many crimes as white people.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow.
5 times.
I wonder why.
I don't know. Maybe they need gambling money and they don't have it. So they figure I'll rob Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'll get a bucket and $20. I'm ahead of the game.
They don't carjack anymore, do they?
Yeah, they still do.
They still do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But then they don't have money to put in the gas tank.
Okay.
It's
Hey,
tough
you and I
working
go
out.
back to the point where you used to be able to put your gas in the car and then go pay. Remember that?
Yeah.
Now this
Well, you know why?
prepaid.
People were driving off.
They were driving off, 60, 70 bucks.
They started, no, it was 20 or 30 then.
20 or 30?
Yeah, that's all it was.
Wow.
Because when I started driving, gasoline was like 34 cents a gallon.
Okay.
1972.
34 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
For a whole gallon, for 34 cents.
I don't know, folks. Let me try to
Wow.
break it down. At
Wow.
Gateway, 1 + 1 = 2. 1 gallon for 34 cents is 34 cents.
Wow.
So if you got 3 gallons,
That's less than a buck.
you'd owe a little over a buck. No. No, you'd be right. It'd be a little bit over $1, buddy. Try to do the math. Try to add 34 and 34. 68, and then add 34. That'd be 102. Fans Gateway at its best. We digress a little. But you don't even care about NBA still.
It's non-essential. Yeah,
They're going to
care.
be starting up at the end of July.
I think that's ridiculous.
They are.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous.
You'll be able to bet on the games, though.
Well, the one thing is you got to take in consideration these guys won't have a summer. You know what I mean? What are they going to do? Be off a week and then come back and start a new season?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
They'll start it in November or something.
Why? Why don't you just start it in
They want to give them a break because they want to help a brother out.
HBO.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what they're looking for. July 31st, they're going to be ready to start in Orlando. The only thing that's making them nervous is since Florida and Texas opened up and California, they're getting outrageous. In Florida, 23,000 people were diagnosed with corona in 1 week. They hadn't seen that in a month.
I don't believe it. It's hard to believe.
Well,
What am I going to believe? You or the president?
Well, here's what I believe. I go by the scientists and doctors, and Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx come out and said that just because we're testing more people doesn't mean it's making the numbers go up. These people are sick. Like I explain it to some of my friends like Smoking Jim. If I felt sick and I go get a flu shot, but I go, can you see if I have the flu? They would check me for the flu. And if they said I didn't have the flu, I got a test, but it doesn't show I have the flu. So how does that increase a number?
Good point.
Now, if I have the flu, that number would show up. So that's the common sense of it. What you're talking is nonsensical because of the information given out by whoever you said it was.
Well, I heard this, and see if you heard the same thing. Maybe Connor heard the same thing.
Well, a lot of people are lying.
Is that hospitals are lying about the number because they're getting a big amount of money. They're getting billions of dollars if they got corona.
Who's showing that
patients.
stuff? Because a lot of these conspiracies, I get them every day. 10 or 15 people send me stuff on messages, and they've been debunked. Means they've been proven false.
Okay, I was wondering.
So, in other words, like somebody like you that wants to tell a story that we can't base it on any facts, I would say you're lying. But I'm your friend, so I'd go, that's a funny story. And I'd like you. So that's what I would say about all this nonsense that you're hearing. That's a great story, but like me, I got 2 strikes against me, over 60, and my anti-remission drugs are ruining my immune system. So I have to be vigilant, watch sick people like Smoking Jim, and stay away and wear a mask. Whether I can't breathe or not, that's my problem. I don't wear the mask all the time.
I like my free mask. I get
Every week you get one. Thanks, Dave Cable and BPTV. You look good in that mask. Connor was so disappointed you didn't have a Steeler mask on. I said, well, he's like this the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Looking at you.
I was.
Now you look better. But yeah, why did even your president shut the country down if it wasn't true? And why did they have people sign a disclaimer that they wouldn't sue him or the organizers if they got corona?
That's smart business.
No, but it means they're lying, that it's not real. Because what would the risk be if this is a hoax?
You still want to protect yourself from.
But it's not real.
Everybody sues in the USA.
Now, how do you make any sense with that? It's
Sue
not
SA.
real.
Sue SA.
I
Sue
want to
SA.
debate you. If something's not real, like the Steelers aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year, some people are saying they are. So when we find out they didn't win the Super Bowl, what am I supposed to say to people? You were wrong?
I still get me a little limited liability insurance just to protect myself.
Why?
From slip and fall. Somebody can slip and fall.
Why?
Anything can happen.
You didn't do it before.
Give me
Like before this happened, you didn't do anything like that.
Give me my limited liability.
They didn't do it when they were packing the house, so why are they doing it now on something that's not real?
People want to sue, man.
No, explain the truth. If something's not real, why are you telling people to sign a disclaimer? I don't know. That's why we can't agree. We'll agree to disagree, because to me, if it's not real, I don't have to worry about it. But I believe it's real. And guess where it came from? Europe.
China?
No, I just told you. You didn't hear me. What word did I say?
Europe.
Thank you.
I heard it came from China.
That's because your sources aren't very good. You don't have good sources. The limited stuff you're listening to isn't good.
You sure?
Yeah. Matter of fact, the governor of New York said the reason New York had so many coronaviruses, 3 million people from Europe come to New York during that time frame when it exploded. 3 million people.
That's a lot of people.
And what was Italy? They were like the #1 after China.
Really?
And Europe. And where were people coming from? Italy and the rest of Europe.
What, with 3 million people coming to New York?
Yeah. That happens all the time.
Why?
In a couple months.
Why?
They love New York. Yeah. They're like you. They go where the money and the girls are. Well, we're getting near the end of the show. We got to check that time there. Connor, give me an update. We just got the word. We got no warning. We're done. Thanks for watching our show. Hope you enjoyed it. Sorry about the politics. I apologize. Believe whatever you want to believe. That's how I think. And I don't worry about color. It shouldn't even matter. In our history, I worry about history because it made us what we are today, and we have to improve on those things. So God bless all of you. Stay safe, and please stay Joey strong.